Uh, Great. I appreciate your giving me a chance to talk about that. I appreciate all the panelists for the role that they're playing in trying to deal with this crisis for Asian Americans in your own ways. So we have a crisis. So I guess I wanted, as much as I know medications and individual psychology, I've also had a great deal of interest in social psychology, so psychology of society. So I think the takeaway concept that I want to make sure that I will communicate today is that racism is not the problem. It is a symptom of a bigger problem. And just like in medicine, if you only treat the symptom and you don't treat what's causing it, it will continue to fester. It'll just keep coming back. So being a mental health professional, I could use the metaphor of bullies in schools. So bullies, you say they are the problem. No. Those who know mental health know that bullies are usually themselves victims of some kind of emotional or physical abuse in their past or in their home. And what they're doing is identifying with the aggressor, which is the Stockholm syndrome, where they take on the qualities of their victimizers. And so if they were abused, then they think, well, I should go and abuse others. And it's called the Stockholm syndrome. And so when kids are bullying other kids in school, they are not the problem. They are actually themselves victims. So as much as you feel for, you're angry, it's natural to feel angry at all these people who are assaulting Asian Americans, physically assaulting. But if you could step back and look at the bigger picture and realize that they're probably doing that, it doesn't excuse what they're doing. But in order to understand why they are perpetrators, you need to understand that if you really look at their psychology, most likely they are emotionally suffering. And they have so much suffering that they need to find someone to blame. And there are two obvious major reasons why people are suffering in America today. One is the COVID situation. But even before that, there was racism. Why? Because there's a lot of suffering. Why? Because over and over again, there's a concept, I guess whenever presidents get elected, they tell, the presidents focus on the economy because it's the economy, stupid, because it's the economy that wins elections. That's the political theory. Well, we have economic disparity, okay? And the poor are getting poorer in America. And so they're losing social status, they're losing financial status, they don't have health care, so on and so forth. There's homelessness. So whether it's white person, black person, Asian person, those who are already economically suffering, and they need to look for someone to blame. That's human nature. And it just so happened that so before that, Asians were still victimized, but it was relatively quiet. But now that it's exploded, so we need to get to the root of the fact that my theory is that as economic disparity gets worse, because the rich are getting richer, poor are getting poorer, it's happening all over the world. It's not just an American phenomenon. It's just the inherent part of pure capitalism. And so economic disparity will get worse over time, is my theory, because it's been getting worse and I don't see anything stopping, which means the suffering of not the top 1% of America, of course, the 99% will increase. And as it increases, they're going to gradually look for people to blame. And when these kids are abused, the bullies in schools, they're not going to blame their parents. Okay, they're going to pick someone weak that they could attack. Okay, because it is difficult for people to attack the people that are the authority.